Hello and welcome to another edition of UFO Video News Now. Let me give you a quick preview of what I got coming up in this video. The first is this orb that was seen at this airport in Manchester, UK. The pilot also got a nice shot of it up in the air. And let's see, and then I got this one here, this strange light that was seen in different parts of Mexico, taken by several different people. And then this one is a video out of UK about an interesting light show. And then let's see. Oh yeah, I got this one here. This one, I'm not really too sure about whether it's real or not, but it's kind of hard to make out. But supposedly these people were driving in a car going down this road, and they encountered this, this person laying on a road in what looks to be some kind of a shadow thing. Again, I don't know if it's real or not, but we'll take a look at it. And then let's see. Oh yeah, this is an interview with Dr. Gary Nolan on the Epic Times, I think it was, and he has something interesting to say about disclosure, which is basically how I think about this whole disclosure process, and then let's see, and then this is about a hypothetical trip to Proxima Centauri B. I think it's supposed to be one of the closest stars to our star. So yeah, it's about this group of people who go on this I think it's 4.2 light years, 100-year journey. I mean, the people that land are the descendants of the of the original people, whatever. But it's kind of interesting. And then let's see, and then then I have two videos about these fairy houses. Remember in one of my previous videos I talked about that little area that was found in, I think it was Mexico, right? And it looked like a town that was obviously built for tiny people. Well, I said, that there was another one. I thought it was Russia, but it's actually Sardinia, Italy. So there's two videos that I want to show there. And then, and then last, I want to talk about this clip here. It's the best fringe science theory you've never heard of. But it's about the Neil Adams growing Earth animation, and it has to do with an expanding universe and an expanding Earth. But to get a better understanding of that, I got to show you this video here. It's just a short 2-minute clip, but it has to do with Einstein's elevator thought experiment, where he says if you're inside of a windowless elevator, you really can't tell the difference between acceleration and gravity. So that's very interesting. And another thing, this is part, it may be boring for some people, and I get that, which is why, I'm going to talk about it last. And remember, with these videos, it doesn't matter how long they are. No one, I don't think anyone is like forcing you to watch these videos all the way through or in one sitting. When I make these videos, these long videos, I'm sort of following, the Joe Rogan thought, which is, and the reason why he makes, 2 and 3 hour podcasts is because he says, if a person gets bored, they can skip past it, or if they have something to do, they can easily hit the stop button, go do whatever they have to do, and then come back and pick it up, when you have time. So yeah, with these videos, come on, people. If you get bored, fast forward. Or, just stop it, go do what you got to do, and come back to it in time. But anyways, if you do, appreciate the time and effort that I put into bringing these videos to you, please give this video a thumbs up. Please share this video, and more importantly, please subscribe. But anyways, let's get to this video here first. Now, like I said, this, and I think these images that people are showing are an AI creation of the original footage, which was kind of hard to see. But anyways, check this out.
Content related to the incident, either to protect sensitive information about classified technology or to prevent public panic. The lack of official acknowledgement or explanation has only deepened suspicions. Critics argue that such incidents highlight a troubling pattern of secrecy surrounding UFO sightings, particularly those involving credible witnesses like pilots. The abrupt disappearance of Bigelow's online presence has left many questioning whether his testimony threatened to expose information authorities prefer to keep hidden. The nature of the silver orb sighted at Manchester Airport.
Yeah, so now this is, I believe this is the image from the pilot's point of view. Well, let me just jump to where Yes, so now this is the orb. Like I said, I believe this is a AI recreation. So this is where they're saying that it was hovering a few inches off the tarmac.
Ability.
Yeah,
Other.
that's a better. Let me find out where's that? I mean, I know there's supposed to be a video where the pilot. Did he take it up here? Oh yeah, here we go.
UFO sighting at Manchester
that's
Airport that has gone viral online has ignited a storm of speculation and intrigue, particularly due to the unusual circumstances surrounding its documentation.
Yeah, so now another thing is they said that, that this thing just shot up when I think someone from the airport approached it, and then it shot up in the air. So, where is that footage? I would really like to see that footage. And then, the rest of this is just different UFOs that have been seen occasionally.
Victorian era and the rise of industrialization, reports of unidentified aerial phenomena took on new significance.
One thing I've noticed also is that there's definitely been an uptick in activity. And, I realize I'm sort of hypersensitive to this subject, but I recognize when there's an increase in videos that are put on in the internet and a decrease. And I've definitely seen an increase in videos. But anyway, check this one out.
¿Una ruta de avión?
Well, now, obviously these were taken from different angles, but it seems to be the same object. Again, this looks like another perspective. I always wonder how does this person here, UFO Mania, how is he compiling these videos? Like, how does he know, where to collect all these different videos, or where are people posting them, and then where does he find them? And by the way, if any of you people out there do have videos or, suggestions, other YouTube, other videos that you think, people should see, definitely put it in the comments. It says UAPs, let me go back to that and read what that said right there. Yeah, UAPs are invisible to the human eye, but become visible with infrared cameras. That's why I've said that before. If we had that glasses that could see in the infrared or the UV light, we would see these crafts in our skies all the time. And we would not only see crafts, but we would see some type of living beings, creatures, whatever you want to call them, that only exist in those light spectrums. Wow, you got instant acceleration. Let me just jump ahead here, see what this other video is here. This was captured from the southeast of Glasgow. Yeah, now this type of light show is definitely something that seems to be new. Because I don't recall ever seeing this phenomenon happening, let's say, you know, in the 70s or 80s or even the 90s. I mean, do I dare say the 2000s? Because, yeah. Yeah, now videos like this, right, where you see these crafts flying in formation, they're all over the place. Right, so, you know, which is why I don't understand when people say, oh, there's no evidence, or there aren't, you know, clear videos and things like that, when people have been pumping out these videos for literally years. You know, I mean, ever since the advent of photography. But again, just because you haven't seen something, you know, I got into a debate with somebody that I know, who claims that since he hasn't seen UFOs, that they can't possibly be real. So I asked him, well, have you ever seen a gray well? I've never seen a gray well. Right? So I'm going to conclude that they're not real, since I've never seen them. You know, I mean, and all the videos and things out there and people talking about them, it's all fake. It's all CGI. Right? I mean, I think that's called isn't that like a logical fallacy, right? Just because you haven't seen something or you haven't experienced something that it can't be real. But anyways, let's move on. Oh yeah, let's watch this one here. Yeah, this is from the UK now.
Dude.
So now this person is saying we asked for them to come.
Fuck me. Holy goddamn.
They're so bright.
Oh my. Oh.
What is happening?
Dude, that's the brightest it's ever been. Zoom out a little bit so you can kind of just gauge how bright we're talking. They're the brightest thing in the sky. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. This has to be seen by other people. This is way too bright. This one will be seen.
Yeah, you know, that's, again, what I find kind of interesting about like a video like this.
You will be seen.
Why is it that, unlike that other video, right, where that guy was able to get so many different perspectives from, you know, different people, different cameras, why aren't other people like submitting videos like to, you know, to any of the social media on the exact same night it happened, right? Like I would imagine if this is going on, anybody seeing this would either live stream it, you know, on whatever social media.
I can't even comprehend what I'm looking at.
You know, there would be multiple
There's
angles.
a lot of smoke around them.
I was going to say there's so much smoke.
Well, I don't think it's smoke. It seems like a steam or something. It's because it's not coming from them. It's around them. It's not above them.
Yeah, the whole steam thing is kind of interesting too, because I know, again, I don't, you know, I don't think these are flares, because I believe that if they were,
Oh my god.
I believe if they were flares, we would see the parachutes, right? Because, and again, I don't know if I'm correct on this, but the types of flares that the military drops, don't they have parachutes, which, you know, slows down their fall? But yeah, there are obviously no parachutes. And then they're not falling,
Talk about
obviously. Oh, you know what?
best one,
The
yeah.
smoke seems to be disappearing.
Thank you.
Truly. But I'm just assuming that smoke because it looks solid. And
How is nobody else seeing this?
they have to be. I mean, it's illuminating the ground. This will be seen. Dude, I don't know what that stuff is next to them, but
Yeah, and then they just slowly disappear. Like, again, I mean, are they doing
It isn't
this
fading like
for
smoke.
our benefit?
no, it was like
You know what I mean? Or are they just conducting some routine task that's required of their, of their society? Like, say, for instance, we have military planes, right, that go up and do surveys. Let's say, one of these uncontacted tribes, right, again, that I've said before, that are still living in the Stone Age, they look up over the sky and, they see one of our planes, right? And I wonder what they think when, we know, right, that plane is conducting, say, some kind of scan of the landscape. You know what I mean? They're just conducting a routine task that was required of them, for some oil company or something like that. You know what I mean? So, when we see crafts like this, is that what we're seeing? Because again, we know now that, there are other civilizations, other advanced species living on this planet with us, sharing the planet with us. So when we see their crafts, are they, revealing themselves for our benefit, or are they just merely conducting some type of routine operation, or both? You know what I mean? Maybe it's both. Anyways, this here, I don't know about. Let's play it. What seems to me is, it seems like some couple in a car. Let me turn this down because it's yeah, they just apparently happened on this person. And I believe this person seems somewhat conscious. Yeah, now look at that. You can see this, that whatever this thing is, it's lifting that person's hand. Or again, is this just CGI?
La bestia. ¿Qué es esa madre? Mira.
Now, I believe, I think, when I read some of the comments, that someone was saying that these people were considering just running it over, but they knew that if they did that, they were gonna, run over this person. Yeah, look at here now. It looks like, I'm not saying that that's exactly what's happened, but it really looks like this creature, being, whatever, is moving this person's limbs. Right, and now, is the blurriness of this being because this is fake, or is it because it's maybe it's from a different dimension, or maybe it's still, yeah, I don't know. I have no explanation for this video. You gotta come to your own conclusions. Here you can kind of see what looks like a face, and then here's obviously two what looks, I guess, like I would call them arms or appendages, arm-like appendages. I'd be like, run, Forrest, run. Here, right there, you can see that, right? It looks like that thing was moving the person's limbs. Yeah, look at this UFO. Okay, let me jump ahead. Now this is another one of those light shows. I'm going to ask the same question, about these. What is going on? What's the purpose? Right? Because this isn't some type of natural phenomenon, right? Or, some atmospheric condition or, meteorological event or whatever the hell you want to call it, right? This seems to be some type of intelligent movement. So if that is the case, what's the purpose again? Is it for our benefit? Are these people basically saying, hello, we're here? Or is this just some type of routine activity that has to be performed, by some division within one of these other civilizations that share the planet with us? Anyways, that's all that's going on there. Let's go to this next one. Let's see. Okay, so now, this is Gary Nolan talking about disclosure, because I watch a lot of other people's UFO channels, and it still baffles me that there are people who are still saying things like, when disclosure happens. Oh, when they finally, or when they finally disclose, right? As if every modern president since Carter and Reagan, right, they've all talked about seeing UFOs. Obama was making a documentary about the Ben and Barney Hill case, right? We have Congress holding hearings. Every other Western country, right? Brazil, England, France, they've all released their reports on UFOs. And yet there are still people within the UFO community, people who have UFO channels, who do UFO live streams, right? They, the host, and other people, when they finally disclose, it's like, come on. Tell me you're a sheep without telling me you're a sheep. Anyways, check out what Dr. Gary Nolan has to say here about disclosure. So let me just back it up a hair. Oh yeah, this is, in it he talks about how, Reagan was talking about how, if we were to encounter, another alien force outside of our country, how it would bring us all together. But I think what Reagan forgets is that the ruling class, they don't want us together. They want to keep us divided. You know what I mean? Divide and conquer. Easier to control people that way. But anyways, check this out.
Exactly. I remember that quote. He said, yeah. But you've had former heads of the CIA, the Defense Intelligence Agency, the DIA, which is the DOD's version of the CIA, head of the NSA, National Security Administration, or whatever. These are all very important government departments, and the heads of them have all come out and said, and some of them have been quite explicit, yeah, it's real, and they're real. So you have to ask the question, what is, for the skeptic, the standard of proof? Is the standard an alien comes out and shakes your hand? If that's the standard of proof, I don't have any time for it. If the standard of proof is, I need to fly a UFO over a football field full of spectators, that's a different standard. Right. But that was met in Phoenix, Arizona, where something giant was seen coming across by tens of thousands of people. Again, there's different standards for different audiences. You can even claim the Earth is round, and there's people out there who will deny that it's round and say that the Earth is flat.
Right.
And
you can't convince them.
And you can't convince them. And so I say, stop trying to convince anybody. You either know what you know because you're sure of it. Don't wait for daddy government to do something. Disclosure can come from the public. Waiting for the government to make up its mind is like waiting for them to, refund your tax check. Don't sit around waiting for it. Go out and do it yourself. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm doing it myself now.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I'm doing this too. That's why I make these videos. Because I've realized, right, why would anybody wait for this government? Okay, it's, again, if you've been paying attention for the last 30 years, right, you would know that our government is incapable of telling the truth about anything. Everything, all the wars, the economy, and this administration now, they changed the definition of words, right? They changed the definition of the V word. I don't even want to say it, right? Because now I have to self-censor myself, right? That's the world we live in now as an American, right? I have to self-censor myself. But anyways, yeah, again, why would you expect this government to tell you the truth, especially about this subject? Okay, if they are going to lie about, they changed the definition of a recession, you know what I mean, in order to fit their narrative. Okay, right. If at this point you haven't learned that our government lies about everything and you cannot trust them, you cannot rely on them, or if you're still looking, you need to look in the mirror and say, I am an institutionalized sheep, and I need daddy government to tell me what I can and can't think about, or what I can and can't know. But anyways, that's how I feel. Disclosure is happening, people. It's a process. It's not an event. Okay, and if you are still waiting for daddy government to give you the answer, you're just a mindless fucking sheep, really. Anyways, so now let's go to this video here. I just thought about something. This one, they might hit me with goddamn. Actually, these people are going to hit me with a copyright violation. But anyways, let me just, I'm going to take a chance. Because I think some of the graphics are very interesting. But this has to do with
Centauri B looks smaller than Earth.
Some humans, taking a trip to Proxima B to colonize that planet.
And the new sun, a red dwarf star, much cooler and smaller than Earth's sun, casts a reddish glow across the planet. You know what? I don't want to risk getting a copyright violation. Let me just explain to you. And things that I find kind of interesting, right? Is the idea that, again, maybe it's just, this mindset is just the people that made this video. I can't make, sweeping generalizations and say everybody in academia or, within the scientific community think like this. But I find it interesting that in this documentary, that these people think that, you discover a planet, right? And you're just going to land on it. And there might be, basic, microorganisms and microscopic life forms, but there's not going to be anyone else on it. There's no other sentient beings. There may be some animals, right? Sort of like some wild pigs or cows or something like that, or maybe some scary beasts. But no, there's no other human-like or sentient beings on these planets. No, not at all. So we can just venture out into the star system, discover a planet, and simply land on it and colonize it. And then, they like I said before, in it, they talk about how the people that finally make it, it's like the 8th generation of humans that, that were born and died on the ship. And then they get into talking about the first children that were born in the craft that brought them to here, and then the first children that were born on this planet, and how those children, their DNA was manipulated in order to better combat the different atmospheric conditions of this planet. And another thing that I thought was kind of interesting is how, right, we base our time, right, on the rotation of the Earth and the orbit of the planet around the sun, right? One day is, right, one orbit. 1 year is 365 days, right?
6 orbit, but whatever. But when they get to this other planet, okay, that planet isn't, rotating around its axis within a 24-hour period in the way in the way we break up moments, right? And the orbit around, this Proxima B, I think Proxima Centauri B is the planet. I think Proxima Centauri is the star, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, right, this planet that they get to, right, its orbit isn't, 365 Earth days. Yet they still calculate time on this planet based on Earth time. Right? I hope I'm explaining that correctly. Right? But anyways, and then, like after, 7 years, here's 10, year, wait, what does this say? Yeah, 2190, year 6, okay? They talk about how, because they've advanced so far, right? They're able to start altering the plants that they grow, the seeds that they brought from Earth in order to better adapt to this environment and things like that. They start, terraforming the planet, using these machines, right? And they learn how to adapt living on this planet, right? Yeah, they learn how to grow plants and things like that. And, as here is a condition, right? Proxima lung, which these humans, they have trouble adapting to some of the microorganisms that have invaded their bodies. Okay, so then, the children, that are born are better able to adapt to it, but it was only because they altered the DNA. And then, they're still actually communicating with Earth, but it takes 4.2 light years or something like that. 4.24 light years for a message to, go from Proxima B to Earth. And then when Earth responds, it takes 4.24 years, for the response, the message to get back to these people, which, based on quantum entanglement, I don't think that, or that issue should be resolved anyways. But as I'm watching this video, okay, here, they show how, the people are mining the planet for its ore and things like that, learning to grow. Here, they're doing vertical farming and things like that, right? And it dawned on me, if we as a species, right, are talking about doing this in our future, why couldn't this have already happened on this planet? Like I've said before, why are there people, that are called indigenous, right, that were basically hunter-gatherers living as tribes, and they all have melanin in their skin? And then you get suddenly, right, out of nowhere, and around the Mediterranean, you get this completely different culture, right? And these people they're making buildings out of cement, right? They're cutting blocks of rock, out of the bedrock and then moving it, and placing it. Meanwhile, as I said, there are other people who are living on the planet, living in huts, right? Living in reed houses, living in caves, living in mud huts. You know what I mean? And, right, and those cultures, right, today, if we look at those cultures today in the 21st century, they haven't developed, right? If you go to certain parts, right, of India, of Brazil, right, of even like up in the Vietnamese highlands or Africa, right, there are still very primitive people who are still living essentially no different than their ancestors did 5,000 years ago, right? The only difference is, whatever Western influence, they may now wear T-shirts or they may have access to modern technology, right? But essentially, right, they are still living in tribes. They still have a chief and stuff like that. But 5,000 years ago, 7,000 years ago, after the planet had just recovered from a
an extinction level event, right? The Younger Dryas, right? Let's say the planet, you give the planet 2,000 years to recover from that. And then, boom, out of nowhere, you get this culture that, first of all, sunburns and they live, differently than every other culture on the planet, right? They have, if you look at our Capitol building, right? That building is based on the architectural style from people 5,000 or 7,000 years ago, right? So why couldn't what they're talking about in this video have already happened on our planet, and their descendants, right, walk amongst us? As I said before, my belief, okay, is that some of us were created for this planet from pre-existing hominid species. Some of us were brought to this planet, which is why we have, these cultures on all these little tiny islands, all over the oceans, right? Far from any mainland, and the idea that they just drifted there is fucking nonsense, right? They were placed there, right? And, right, the Aiga culture, right? All of their ancient myths, again, right, the white man, right, scientists said, oh, they were just myths, right? But the people back then said that the gods taught them how to farm, right? So I think that these gods that they're talking about were, either one of the advanced civilizations that's always existed on this planet, or another advanced culture that arrived on the planet and helped out the survivors of the Younger Dryas event. But anyways, enough of my rambling. Let me move on to this fairy house thing. Okay, so now again, the thing about these fairy houses, right? What if you look at some of the cuts in this rock? Here, let's go to this one. Yeah, look at these cuts. Right? Whoever made this with some type of device. Okay, this cut is made by something that was able to melt this rock or to cut this rock like butter. Okay, you know how I know that? Because that's what it looks like. And if this was cut using some type of machinery, okay, we would see the cut marks. And if you want to convince me that this was done using rocks, I'm not gonna pay attention, because you're obviously a fucking idiot.
Right in its place, because the buildings are called just like that Domus de Janus, or in the original Italian.
Yeah, look at these. Look at these perfect right angles,
Translated
straight
into
cuts.
Russian, this is the house of the fairy, or the house of the witch. Location: the island of Sardinia in Italy. There, on this very Sardinia, there are just a lot of these curious. I don't even know what to call them. I'll call them products.
Yeah, again, look at this cut, all right? This was not done using other rocks, all right? Again, just common sense will tell you that. And if, again, if the idea that whoever did this obviously had some type of advanced machinery, right? And then they also hollowed out the inside, right? Why would it be a stretch to believe that some diminutive species from another planet arrived on Earth and then decided to make these their homes because they had the technology and the machinery to create these things?
That will be the most accurate, because their artificial origin is beyond doubt. Most often, fairy houses look like caves carved into the rocks. Strictly speaking, they are not only in Sardinia, it's just that they can be found more often there, and in total...
Yeah, look at this cut, right? This is not done by hand. This is not done by, copper tools, right? Again, seriously, you have to be a fucking idiot to even think that. This was obviously done by some type of machinery that had the ability to cut into this rock like it was fucking butter.
Total, they counted about 2.8 thousand pieces in the region. From normal dwellings, fairy houses differ in size. That is, it is impossible to live in them, they are too small. Therefore, historians have...
Yeah, look at the inside, right?
Again, how do you create these columns? There had to have been some type of machinery that was able to just melt this rock away, because that's what it looks like. Okay, I don't see chip marks, right? I'm not seeing any circular saw marks. What I'm seeing is, like the rock being dissolved away in whatever shape they decided.
Expressed the opinion that they served as tombs. Of the curious features, it can be noted that they are all different, but there are some common features. For example, the presence of small niches inside. Now guides offer a romantic option for the appointment of these niches. They say it's for gifts to the fairies. No less romantic is the second option, an offering to the spirits of the dead. That is, you make a gift to the soul of the deceased, you lie down to sleep there, and this very soul can talk to you for life. Why these niches were actually made, no one knows. Actually, the information that these are tombs is only an assumption. They substantiated it by the similarity of some houses with the traditional layout of the dwellings of people of a certain fossil culture called Osieri, which is generally logical. Hence the dating of the houses 2 to 4 millennium BC, that is, this is also from the field of assumptions. It is known from real use that some of these cave products were used by church ministers. However,
Okay, let me just stop there. Let me go to this one here. This one is a better one because it's actually they actually go inside. So let me go to start the beginning of this. Right, again, these were obviously dwellings.
But it seems to be another door.
Too small.
SIF is stop after.
And you know what else I also believe? Here, let me just keep playing this. I'll just turn it down. I don't think whoever lived in these dwellings, I don't think they're gone. I think they're still here. I think, again, because they were obviously some type of advanced species that had this technology, they moved on somewhere else. But like I said, this is obviously a dwelling for very diminutive people.
Kitchen connected to the dining room with their small plates,
And I have shown videos, right? Again, I'm not going to say that they're real or not. They look real, but some people have caught videos of these tiny people in trees. Now I know one of them. I think he was like a professor or something. He made some fake ones. But there's one guy that's like in a park.
Now, compare in your mind the amount of time and endeavor needed to go inside.
Right? Yeah. Imagine what it would take to cut out all this rock.
That which would be required to actually build them, cut them into the solid bedrock.
Yeah. Again, look at this. Look at these cuts. Okay, this isn't done by primitive hand tools.
For example, here, an enthusiastic visitor at some unknown point in the history had to make an extra opening for his head. Me and Simon, we simply gave up. We couldn't visit all of the Domus de Janus. Some of them are too narrow. But other types of visitors never give up, and that's why it is very common to see that the entries are somewhat widened, like this one. It's a typical example.
What she's saying is that some of these areas they were widened. They were actually smaller, but people who were curious wanted to get in there, so they widened these openings so that they could get in. Right, but they were much smaller.
Original entrances for all the Domus de Janus are strictly
rectangular. Yeah, look at that. Look at those cuts. Right.
Sometimes they also have geometric patterns, kind of a decoration design, and that was obviously damaged by the subsequent widening, which was usually done in a very rough fashion.
Okay, and think about this, right? These little dwellings, there's multiple. I think there's up to like 1,000 of them or something like that. So imagine, going back to the moment when these dwellings were actually occupied. What did the people look like? What was their daily life like? What was their driving force?
So always when you see
did they have similar rituals and beliefs and wants and desires as what we go through today?
Modified at a later stage.
I mean, with like social interactions, did they have like love triangles and you know what I mean? Do these little people, do they fall in love? Do they fall out of love? You know what I mean? Are there, did they go through like political disagreements and things like that?
Fairies, So they were small fairies.
You don't have to bring that much in there.
They call it pool. Symbol.
Look at this. They're all over the place, right? So, yeah, there must have been a thriving community. And the idea, and the notion that they were able to cut into the bedrock tells me that they had technology. And if they had technology that didn't develop on this earth, then the only logical explanation would be that they arrived from another planet, that they were an advanced civilization that arrived from another planet. I don't know if they arrived here by choice or if they crashed here or whatever, but the fact is, we know that they were here because, here is the evidence of their dwellings and these cuts, right? The fact that they were able to create these dwellings in the bedrock when all the other cultures around that time were living in mud huts, huts made out of, reeds. You know what I mean? Yeah, they must have come from another advanced civilization and settled on Earth and made Earth their home. And again, like I said, I don't think they left. I don't think they went extinct or anything like that. I think they merely moved to areas where they moved to areas away from us, right? They moved to areas away from us. And yeah, anyways, so let's go to this video here. Again, this is just this is going to be the last of it. Now, this is a 2-minute video that explains this idea of the expanding universe and an expanding planet. But before you watch that, I just want to give this little introduction, about this equivalence principle that Einstein came up with that has something to do with his theory of general relativity, whatever, right? But it's called the elevator thought experiment. So just watch this.
Einstein's elevator is a thought experiment devised by Albert Einstein to illustrate the principles of his theory of general relativity. The experiment involves a hypothetical scenario of an elevator in free fall, which allows us to understand how gravity and acceleration are inherently linked in the context of curved spacetime. Imagine an elevator in deep space, far away from any external gravitational influence. In this scenario, the elevator is unaccelerated, and its occupants experience a state of weightlessness as if they were floating in microgravity. According to the equivalence principle of general relativity, the effects of gravity experienced inside the elevator are indistinguishable from the effects of the elevator's upward acceleration in a gravitational field. Now, let's introduce an external gravitational field, such as the Earth's gravitational field. As the elevator falls freely under the influence of gravity, its occupants would experience weightlessness inside the elevator, similar to the scenario in deep space. This is because the acceleration due to gravity is indistinguishable from the acceleration caused by an upward motion in flat spacetime. Einstein's insight was that gravity is not a force acting at a distance, as described by Newtonian physics, but rather a curvature of spacetime caused by mass and energy. In the elevator scenario, the free fall motion of the elevator and its occupants is equivalent to the motion in the absence of gravity because the curvature of spacetime near the Earth, or any massive body, causes the elevator to follow a geodesic path. The concept of Einstein's elevator helps us understand that the effects of gravity can be accounted for by considering the curvature of spacetime due to massive objects, and that the distinction between gravitational forces and inertial forces becomes blurred in the context of general relativity. This equivalence principle forms a fundamental cornerstone of Einstein's theory, leading to a deeper understanding of gravity and its effects on the fabric of the universe. Subscribe.
Okay, right. So, right, if you're okay, just let me reiterate what he said. Imagine you're inside of an elevator, right, and you're in space, right, where there is no gravity, but you're being pulled up, right? You're inside of a windowless elevator, so you don't know that you're in space, right? But if you're being pulled up, you're going to think that you're in a gravity environment because you're going to feel the effects of gravity right on the bottom of your feet, right? The elevator moving up is going to feel like gravity to you inside the elevator because you don't know. But now let's take that elevator out from a non-gravity environment and bring it into Earth's atmosphere, right, where it's free falling, right, because it's being pulled to the Earth based on the Earth's gravitational effect, right? But the people inside the elevator, right, which is free falling to Earth because of gravity, they're going to be floating inside of that elevator, right? So they're going to believe that they're in a non-gravity environment. They're going to think they're in space, when in reality, they're in Earth's atmosphere, right? So you can't tell the difference between gravity and acceleration, right? Because acceleration feels like gravity, and if you're free falling in a if you're free falling because of Earth's pull, if you don't, you know what I mean, if you're not outside feeling the wind, right, you're going to think that you're free falling, that you're floating in space. Okay, so right, what he's saying is that gravity and acceleration are indistinguishable. Okay, so now based on that, this guy here, Neil Adams, he has this belief that one of the reasons why objects of different weight fall at the same speed, right? Like if you take a bowling ball and a feather, right, and you drop them right from the same height, they're going to hit the ground at the exact same time, even though a bowling ball is much heavier than a feather, right? How is it that the feather and the bowling ball hit the ground at the same time when one is so much heavier? And according to him, it's because those objects aren't falling, okay? What's happening is the Earth is expanding into those objects, right? I don't know if I explained that properly, but maybe, here, let me just play this video here, and maybe you'll better understand it.
We come to the Earth, which grew to get here the way it is now. Here is our world, our planet Earth, floating in space. We will be going backward in time, imperfectly, but done in a very disciplined manner. Please notice there is no subduction, no rotation of tectonic plates, no twisting, no form-fitting, no altering shapes or sizes. It would be impossible for these continental plates to fit together perfectly.
Yeah, now you see what's happening here. The Earth is shrinking, right? And as the Earth shrinks, right, as the curvature or whatever, the spherical Earth shrinks, all the land masses get closer together.
Without this being true, and yet the upper tectonic plates fit together perfectly on a much smaller planet. Yes, there's been some erosion, landslides, blah, blah, but overall this activity is insignificant. There is a kind of conspiracy of silence among certain scientists. They know, but are not telling you, that the upper tectonic plates of Earth also join in the Pacific. Not partially. They join totally. You are asked to believe that the continents swim or drift about willy-nilly, bumping and crashing as if they were on a greased skillet. This is not true. The simple truth is apparently too upsetting to too many.
Okay, now watch this. Right now, the Earth is now beginning to expand. And as the Earth gets larger, right, the outer tectonic crust, right, starts to spread apart because the sphere is getting larger, but the land masses aren't getting larger.
Apple carts. We're now going forward in time to show how the actual growth of the Earth took place. Imperfect as to details, but the overall is nailed. Antarctica, as you see, has become subtropical. Africa on a smaller globe moved way downward under the globe. In fact,
let me just stop this real quick, right? Yeah, people who have studied geography, right? They know that the rock layers on this side of South America is the same as, let's see, it's the east side of South America is the same as the western coast of Africa, right? So it was obviously that these continental plates did split. Oops, did I jump that forward?
Earth took place. Imperfect as to details, but the overall is nailed. Antarctica, as you see, has become subtropical. Africa on a smaller globe moved way downward under the globe. In fact,
oh, because you know what? I thought this was a longer version, but anyways, that's basically the concept that this guy's talking about. That that we actually do live in not just an expanding universe, but also an expanding planet, and that's that's what and that the speed that we're growing is was it 10.3 meters squared or something like that. Whatever the speed of free fall is, right? That's the actual speed that the planet is growing, and that's a constant growth, and that we're always growing. And I guess if the planet is always growing, I guess that would mean that we as individuals have to be growing too, right? Because I don't think the planet is growing so fast that we will soon become like ants, I guess. Anyways, just an interesting theory. I'm not buying it, but just interesting thought experiment. But anyways, you know what? Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end. As I said before, man, if you don't have to watch these videos all the way through. No one has a gun to your head, right? If you can only watch these things in snippets, or if I get to a part that gets too boring, stop the video, fast forward, walk away, whatever. No one's forcing you to watch these things. But anyways, like I said, that is going to be it. Thank you so much for watching this. Please like, please share, and of course, please subscribe. It helps me out, but I'll keep doing this. So until next time, take care.